Hey friends! Today I'll be attempting 4 colorful and beautiful coloring trends, one in each of these books. So let's get right into it! First up is Anchored Art Design's Just Add Sparkles. I love this book and she's the sparkle queen, so I of course had to try the glitter effect here. I have actually done the glitter effect once before, which I'll show you later, but I've had a lot of practice since then and watched several more tutorials, including one by Color with Claire that I'll link below. So this one comes out better if I do say so myself. And here I go, coloring where I shouldn't. I want this ice cream to be pink on the left and blue on the right, like a tasty and aesthetic cotton candy ice cream cone. Is this actually how a multicolored soft serve would look though? Honestly, you could probably only get this look with a frozen yogurt, but why get froyo when you can have imaginary multicolored ice cream instead? Next, we'll move on to our fingernails. We'll go with this vibrant purple. I'm a fan of nail polish, just on other people, not myself, as you probably could have guessed. I love this cute wrapper Cara designed. This drippy smiley face is just adorable. Okay, let's finish coloring in the base colors. Now we get to the glitter effect. First step is to add a bunch of dots of varying sizes using a slightly darker shade. I did some bigger ones, then sprinkled smaller ones everywhere else. If you're using alcohol markers for this, make sure that the paper is dry because if the alcohol is still wet, your dots are going to blend and that's not what we want here. We want crisp edges on the circles. Now repeat the same process of dots with an even darker shade. Mine is pretty red on top of the pink, but that's okay. Having some contrast in the colors really makes the glitter effect look fairly realistic. And you can go crazy with the dots. If you think you have enough, maybe do a few more. I'll shade the hand and the cone while I wait for those dots to dry. Oh, I also made these sparkles sparkle for real with a glitter gel pen. Now here's where the magic happens. Take a white marker, I used a 0.7mm Posca, and do the same process with the big and small dots. I don't quite understand it, but the more you add, the more you can see the glitter effect come to life, and it's so satisfying. I did some sparkles just to give it the extra oomph, and we're done. This one was easy enough with such a cool result, but we have a trend coming up third that took me forever, so stay tuned for that if you're looking for a challenge. For now, we'll move on to the rainbow swirl effect, but I'll do a quick walkthrough first. My mom did this one. Isn't it so pretty? This is Creative Paula's It's the Little Things. I got this for Christmas in 2024, and I credit this book with getting me and my mom back into coloring. We had so much fun coloring together during the holidays that year. Anyways, on to the page of the day. For the rainbow swirl, I need to find the full rainbow of colors, each in 3 shades. Now I'll decide where the center is going to be, then divide the page into 6 parts, one for each of the colors of the rainbow. I decided this top section is going to be yellow, and I'll go in rainbow order from here. I'm using the 3 shades to go darker as we get further away from that center point, so that's why I'm coloring the bunny a darker, almost orange color. I got inspiration for this page from a short by Creative Paula herself. I'll link it below. I figured an idea of hers was fitting when trying a fun coloring technique in her own book. I'm still learning how to blend alcohol markers properly, but the main thing is to make sure that the page stays wet while you switch back and forth with the shades. I think I did okay here, but I struggled a bit with blending the blue that you'll see here in a bit. Now I'll repeat that same process of coloring from lighter to darker with each color, so please enjoy this music while I make this page a color explosion. Whoops, that marker's dry. Hopefully I remember to mark it off the swatch instead of hoarding the dry marker. Here's that terrible blue blend I was talking about. I'm still not sure what went wrong here, especially since the yellow blend went alright. Last color is this purple here, and I'm not sure why I picked such dark shades. I think I'm lacking in purple, so if any of you can recommend any alcohol markers with a good purple selection, please let me know. Now I'm going in with the same markers since the colors have dried and layering to give the page a bigger range of colors. I think this adds dimension and will really help with the magical effects we'll be adding next. This is the best part now. Taking an acrylic marker of the same color, but lighter or darker than your page so that you can see it clearly, put a bunch of dots around the edge, letting a few dots linger over to the other colors, in this case the green and the orange sides. Lastly, we repeat the dot process with the white marker, concentrating the dots into the middle of the line where the colors change this time, and making them more sparse as you get further away. I should mention the white bunny here. I'm leaving her white because the story I came up with here is that her friends have already jumped in the rainbow puddle and gotten their colors, but she's next and is actively jumping in. Back to the coloring, I add some sparkles again because they really do just make a page pop that much more, and that's a second trend done. This was fun. I definitely think I'll try this again. If you're looking for a challenge, stay tuned for this one. I'm attempting the embroidery effect in Coco Woo's Girl Moments. To start, you want to draw lines on any area that is bigger than 3/4 of an inch to give yourself some guidelines for the coloring. After you have your guidelines, you want to draw more short strokes up from the line, making sure that they are not too uniform. This will help with that hand-stitched look later. You also want to add some shorter strokes coming from the line above, and this will be the other end of the thread. I was a bit worried about how this effect would turn out, so before committing to the whole page, I used the water as a proof of concept. To do that, you add more strokes in a darker color layered on top. I'll repeat this again with an even darker shade, much like we did with the glitter effect with the 3 shades. Now I'll use a white gel pen. I'm using a jelly roll and I add a zigzag pattern to where the most white is showing through. This is meant to be a highlight on the curved stitching. I'll eventually go in with the black to really take this to the next level, but for now I'm seeing the vision and feeling more confident that this page is going to turn out alright, so let's color in the rest of it. Okay, whew, I know that was only a few minutes in the video, but this took me 3 hours just to do this part. It takes so much longer to do these strokes than it does to just fill in a section with a full color. Now it's time to add the white stitch highlighting to the rest of the page, but you don't need to watch me do that. Time for the final step. I really like this step because it takes the page from looking chaotic with no clear vision to grounding it and adding some definition to the stitching. I'm taking a black micron pen and adding a dashed line to every guideline I had made, and adding organic stitch lines coming from the thicker lines from the original coloring page. This really makes it look stitched together and gives the sections with thicker lines a patch-like effect. For example, the tree itself looks embroidered now, and then it looks like the whole tree was stitched onto the page after. And I guess I shouldn't complain about how long this takes because I'm sure this is still much faster than real embroidery takes. Still, I wouldn't recommend this trend unless you have some extra time on your hands. Even if the end result does look pretty neat, let me know if you'd try this trend or skip it. Last up, we have a much easier technique to try, the glow effect. For this one, try to pick a simpler page or one with clear defined outlines. Ashley Monet's book, Black It Out, is beautifully detailed, so I chose these dinosaur skulls that I could outline easily that would be perfect for this prompt. You'll also need a lot of neon, so grab any bright acrylic markers you have for this one. I start by covering the edges of the picture with one of those neon colors and building it up to a thick outline. This took me several coats, so I just keep layering and layering until I was happy with it. Like with the embroidery effect, I wanted to test out a proof of concept area before doing the whole page, so I'm blacking out this first dinosaur, a Parasaurolophus. It wasn't glowy enough for me, so I found a different, brighter green marker and went over my lines. I also found that the brush tip ate up the paper less than the nib on the poscus, so that was a win. We'll come back to him later, so I'll start working on the next dino while this one dries. Now it's time to make sure it actually glows. Using a white gel pen, I draw a white line in the middle of the glowy outline. I don't think I made it look the most glowy, but I tried. Color with Claire's looks much better. I'll link her video tutorial in the comments. Let's enjoy some music while I outline the rest of the dinos. I decided this yellow was way too similar to the green to be next to each other. Back to the music. As I finish this page with the T-Rex, let me know which page was your favorite. I think mine has to be the glittery ice cream, but this glow page ended up being interesting too. Let's do a quick recap. Also, if you like my videos and have crafty ideas for me, please let me know down below. I love hearing feedback from you guys and getting great ideas from the comments, so share away. I already have a few video ideas from suggestions coming up. Let's just say it's in the works for my circus characters to make a comeback. Bye friends!